Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa, and today's topic is breaking the bank, budgeting and funding resources for RSOs. Now, I know that we all love money, but I'm sure we'd all also love some guidance on how to make the Benjamin stretch. So that's what we'll get into right now. So the first thing we'll talk about is banking. You can use your bank of choice. A lot of organizations tend to use TDECU or Woodforce just because of proximity and closeness of branches and ease and convenience. But you and your organization may use any bank that you choose. You will need to make sure that you keep your officers updated with the bank, because if your current officers don't match the officers that are in the records of the bank, you will not be able to transact or withdraw money, deposit. You will not be able to do what you need to do. So keep your officers updated with us, within yourself, and also with the banking institution that you choose to use. New RSOs will need to apply for the employer identification number through the irs.gov website. And the organization name must match bank statement for the memorandum. If you're going to use TDECU, the first thing that you're going to need is your student organization EIN number. You need a driver's license for all the signers on the account, and if the addresses are different on your ID, TDECU will need proof of address. These are acceptable proof of address documents, letters and bills from UH, a utility bill, voter's registration card, or a lease agreement. You will also need your organization memorandum and emails and phone numbers for all signers. So the next thing we're going to get into are budgeting basics. What is a budget? A budget is a projection of income, revenue, and expenses disbursements. Budgets may be revised in the event that the financial plans of an organization or a program change. Why create a budget? Well, creating a budget is good for financial planning. It's a major source of organizational strength and stability. People are attracted to fiscal responsibility, and it will add longevity to your organization. It'll also allow you to create good relationships with your vendors, because they know that you have the money and that you can pay on time, and you don't have to call whichever vendor you use asking for extensions, telling them, oh, I can't pay you right now, and you don't have to be out here amongst the university community trying to scrape up crumbs to make a loaf of bread. You have the money in your account and you can transact as you need to. Budgeting is an important planning tool when it comes to program planning. You need to prepare budgets for your annual operations of your organization, fundraising events, committee activities, and also special events as well. The budgeting process. The first thing you want to do is define the goals for your student organization. So use your mission and vision statements, also provided to you in other SOL sessions, to guide your goal setting. Every other step should work toward achieving your aspirations. Develop a budget and strategies for achieving those goals. So select a few events or programs that will help you reach your target. Don't try to do everything at once. If there are events that you want to do and they're just so grand, start basic. You can always add on at a later date, or when you continue to do annual events, you can always do more each year, because spending too much money up front on any one item will restrict your outreach. So if you go over budget for one event, one program, one special event, that's going to hurt you later on in the semester or the year when you try to do other things and you think that you have the money in your bank account, and when you look, you don't. So just remember, you can always build on your events year after year. Be realistic about how much things will cost, but also be resourceful. Create checklists to make sure that you've considered all the different financial aspects of programs that you would like to plan. The sooner you take these costs into consideration, the more time you have to fundraise and find collaborators on campus who can share those costs. You can get into sponsorship with other departments, other organizations. There are many things that you can do to alleviate some of the costs associated with putting on events or having programs. So be resourceful, ask questions, ask for discounts as well. Again, budgeting and being financially and fiscally responsible doesn't have to be tedious. It doesn't have to be confusing. So we'll go step by step. So the first thing you want to identify are your organizational goals. Where do you want the bulk of your money going? Prioritize your events. Maybe there's a large social event that you have in the spring semester. So you want most of your money to go to that because it's just a big grand affair. So you want to set your budget up in such a way that any other events or programs that you have throughout the year, you want to set it up to where you use less money on those and where you can save money and really do what you want to do with that one big event. Review what your sources of income are. Are you getting money from membership dues? Are you getting donations? Are you doing fundraising? Be aware of all your streams of income and maximize each one of them so that you can be in a financially safe place when it comes to your bank account and your ability to transact financially. Review the previous year's budget. Where did the organization lose money and what was successful? So when you look at where the organization lost money, be able to be a problem solver. Be able to come up with solutions on how you can mitigate that loss and maybe where you can make money or at least break even right there and you don't lose money because obviously nobody wants to lose money. Go back and evaluate what was successful. Why was it successful? Just be aware of those things. How much risk does the organization have within their budget? Can you deal with maybe losing some money on an event? Is that going to put you and your organization at a financial hardship? Is it something that you don't want to do? Just remember, we think of risk in more than one way. We think of risk financially, with reputation, physical risk, many of those things, and financial risk plays into reputational risk in this case just because if you don't have the funds to do certain things, to hold certain events, to sponsor other organizations if they come to you and ask, but you promise that money, but you really don't have it, it hurts your reputation just because you and your organization are not of your word. You're not being responsible. So always, always, always evaluate the financial risk in the decisions that you make. Do your homework. Obtain quotes on potential costs. You can shop around. You don't have to take the first quote that you get. Don't always overestimate. Get real numbers. Overestimating can hurt your budget in the end because you can overestimate for something and additional fees and costs and surcharges, all of the financial jargon that they use can actually exceed that overestimation that you made and can really put a damper on your budget down the line. So always get real numbers and always just be aware of what is going to come out of your account. To ensure safety of your funds, always provide monthly updates and have more than one member or officer approve expenditures. It's dangerous to have only one person with control of the bank account because in certain situations you may come to find out later on that you have money missing from your account. There may be purchases on there that other people from the organization or other people from other members of the executive board did not authorize. They're wondering, well, why was this purchased? When was it purchased? What was the purpose? And then it leads to a lot of confusion. So there needs to be financial checks and balances set up so that more than one member and officer can be looking at and auditing the financial status of the organization. Keep accurate records. Budgeted costs, keep up with actual costs and any unanticipated expenses. The components of a budget, which we reviewed briefly a few minutes ago. Income can come from dues, fundraisers, donations. Expenses, operational costs, office supplies, marketing that you may do, copying and printing, business cards, resources, so books, subscriptions to things, programming and entertainment, which are your special events. And then you have to break down the cost of those events. So we're talking about food, rentals, publicity, equipment. If you have speakers or performers, there are fees associated to the entertainment aspect of your events as well. So just be aware. The mark of a great budget is, or the mark of financial responsibility, I should say, is when your expenses don't exceed your income, because when expenses exceed income, that will put you in the red, and that is not the place that you want to be. So here we have an organizational budget sheet for your convenience, something that you could use in the future, or you can kind of shape and mold your own budget sheet. But as you can see, there are expenses listed right across up here in the yellow. And then there's the balance column right here. And here are the purchases that were made, or deposits, as we can see right here. And we see how much these objects cost here. This in this column, and this one as well. And as things are subtracted or added in the case of our deposit, you can see it's reflected in the balance right here. And this gives you the remaining balance at the bottom, including your deposits. So again, this is a great tool to have to help you keep up with the things that you are purchasing, the date at which it was purchased, and how much things are really costing you and your organization to put on. And this will just help you keep accurate records. So next we're talking about the opportunities for funding, which is the Activities Funding Board. The AFB funding process. First, you have to meet the prerequisites. Then you complete an allocation request. You have a hearing. You go through approval, and you have to turn in receipts. And at the end of this, because AFB currently functions on a reimbursement basis, you will have a direct deposit. So let's talk about the prerequisites. First, you need to be a registered student organization, and you must have a bank account in order to be reimbursed. And your organization must have an EIN, Employer Identification Number, from the IRS. That doesn't come from our office. A lot of times students come to the Center for Student Involvement asking about the EIN numbers. We don't have anything to do with that. That is strictly through the IRS, specifically the irs.gov website I gave you at the beginning of the presentation. The next thing we will talk about is the allocation request. So you want to make the request for your money at least 4 weeks in advance. Any RSO can apply on our website, and that website is www.uh.edu/AFB. When you go to this website, you will be prompted to fill out a Get Involved form. You will fill it out. You'll give us your organization and event information, enter your budget information, have your memorandum and a one-page summary, and you can also apply for money for conferences up to $1,000. So for the hearing process, organizations will automatically be scheduled for their hearing. One top officer must attend. Now you can have a PowerPoint presentation, you can bring flyers, paper materials, anything of that nature. You can bring those to show the hearing committee. That's common, but you don't have to do it. Your decision will be given 48 hours after your hearing. Approval and receipts. Given the approved budget, you must start collecting your receipts, payment method, the amount, the company, the advertising, equipment rentals, the needed invoice, and you will only get money for the receipts that you turn in. So be vigilant and careful about collecting your receipts. Keep them safe. Don't let the elements reach them, so keep them dry. Don't let them get wet, because if you turn in receipts and they are degraded in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and we cannot read them, that's money that you can't get back, because we can't see what you spent. Direct deposit. You are required to have this on file to receive your reimbursement. This will set you up as set your organization up as a University of Houston vendor. You will need to fill out 3 forms: a W-9, your direct deposit authorization, and there's a cover sheet that goes with that as well. If you have any questions about funding for your organizations, please feel free to reach out to myself, Marissa Hill, MD Hill 2 at central.uh.edu, Janelle King, JSKing8 at uh.edu, Maneza Saeed, who is our AFB chair, AFB at uh.edu, and you can also visit the AFB website, which is www.uh.edu/AFB. I hope that this presentation will help you and your organization in your quest for financial and fiscal responsibility, and also finding resources to help you put on those programs, those events that you want to have, and still be responsible and not fall into any financial risk. Thank you for listening today. Questions about funding for your organizations, please feel free to reach out to myself, Marissa Hill, MD Hill 2 at central.uh.edu, Janelle King, JSKing8 at uh.edu, Maneza Saeed, who is our AFB chair, AFB at uh.edu, and you can also visit the AFB website, which is www.uh.edu/AFB. I hope that this presentation will help you and your organization in your quest for financial and fiscal responsibility, and also finding resources to help you put on those programs, those events that you want to have, and still be responsible and not fall into any financial risk. Thank you for listening today.